All right, let's shift our focus now to the other big development that we're tracking from Uttar Pradesh. An anti-conversion amendment bill has been tabled in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly, which in fact proposes to increase the fine on religious conversion from 15,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees with a 3-year punishment proposed. So, Suresh Khanna has introduced the amendment. Earlier, a minimum fine of 15,000 rupees was proposed. It's now been increased to 50,000 rupees. The minimum punishment was a year. It's now been increased to 3 years. The Uttar Pradesh government has proposed to make amendments to the anti-conversion law stricter. Maximum punishment will be life in prison. So a stricter anti-conversion law there in Uttar Pradesh. This is a controversial law, remember, that has in fact now a new bill to make the law even more stringent has now been tabled in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly. Tanish Punjabi, my colleague tracking the details of the story, joins us live with the very latest. Tanish, 3 years punishment has been proposed, could be extended up to life. This is clearly Yogi Adityanath there making the anti-conversion law, rather controversial law to begin with, a lot tougher.
Well, of course, Chief Yogi Adityanath's government finally has, amendment has been passed in the UP Assembly to make the laws, to make the anti-conversion law much more stricter. Remember, in 2020, 4 years back was the first time when it was passed. Now, in the earlier it was only the victim that could file the complaint. Now with the amendments, anybody can file the complaint. Anybody can file the complaint. Not just it is not necessarily that only the victim can file the complaint. Talking about fines, so earlier the minimum fine was around 15,000. Now it is around 50,000. The minimum fine is around 50,000, making it much more stricter. Earlier, the minimum punishment was around 1 year. Now the minimum punishment will be 3 years, and it can of course go as high as life imprisonment. So of course, the amendments were introduced by Minister Suresh Khanna in the UP Assembly. Of course, there was opposition regarding the amendments. One of the key issues that was raised by that a lot of false cases are also filed in this, and there should be a provision to deal with false cases. To which, of course, Minister Suresh Khanna responded that under the BNS there is already a law that deals with false case filing of the false cases. So of course, today the amendments were introduced in the second day of the monsoon session of the UP Assembly, and it has now been passed in the Parliament. Yes.
Right. Tanishq, also if I can just understand very briefly from you, what has been the opposition's biggest contention against the anti-conversion bill that's now been made tougher?
Yes, as I told you, Rishika, it was the Samajwadi Party and the Congress, Aradhana Mona Mishra, that were opposing the bills very vehemently in the Assembly. The leader of the opposition of the Samajwadi Party, the newly appointed leader of opposition, Mata Prasad Pandey, said that a lot of false cases are filed in this, in this. So there should be a provision to punish those who file false cases under this anti-conversion anti-conversion law. To which, of course, as I told you, that the minister responded that saying there is already a provision in the Bharatiya Nyaya Samiti that deals with such filing of false cases. Aradhana Mona Mishra, on the other hand, said that what about the victims? Is there any provision? Aradhana Mona Mishra said that there is no provision to ensure the security of the victims in this. So Samajwadi Party and the Congress, of course, raised their voices against this, but now the amendments have been passed in the UP Assembly. Yes.